I'm refraining from purchasing a 404, and so I thought to myself, how can I get that sound from my MPC Live? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lift the Noise. I am Raul. I recently did a video on some gear that I've been lusting after, and one of those pieces of gear is the SP44A. From the OG to the SX to the A are very sought after or used in the production of lo-fi. Now, I'm not an expert in lo-fi hip-hop. I don't even make the style of music, but I dig the sound that you get when you run things through the 404 from what I've heard. I was checking out some videos on the 404 and how that's broken down. I believe you get like 3 different parameters on the knobs that are up there on the top. One of them is just like vinyl noise. You just turn that up and you get more vinyl crackle, static sound. The one that really sticks out that I'm going to focus on is you have a knob that controls the wow and flutter. The wow and flutter is like an artifact that you get from audio that's recorded to either tape or vinyl. What it is just like this imperfection or slight variations in, I believe, the speed of the tape or the vinyl, and so you get this effect where it sounds like the music or the audio is being pitched up and down, so you get that like a warble sound, which is a funny word. I was talking about ways to get over my gear lust. I'm refraining from purchasing a 404, and so I thought to myself, how can I get that sound from my MPC Live? You know, I had an idea and I thought I'd share it with y'all, so let's get into what that might look like. Alright, so I'm starting off with a really clean sound. I have a piano key group in my MPC Live. I'm going to use pad perform, do a quick little chord progression. So I ended up sequencing this right here. So it just loops around. I wanted to resample this into a loop, so I used looper and set the input to resample. Hit record. Export that, rename it. From there I assigned it to a pad. I'm gonna make a copy of this, so I have 2 copies. One's gonna be clean, and then the next one I'm gonna do some sample editing too. Alright, so now I have 2 copies. I had 2 ideas of how to approach this. Just talking about how the wow and flutter works and how that's like a variation in pitch, like slight variations of imperfections in the recording. And so my first idea was just to go simply into the sample edit. Use my pitch shift. So what I'm going to do is select little parts of the audio, just small sections at a time. Adjust my start and end point, so I just have a little bit selected like this. And then from there I'll process it. I want to change my pitch here. Holding down the shift button while turning my knob will allow me to do some finer tuning. I can't really do that with one hand here, so I'm just going to cut to it. So I set my pitch shift to 0.25. It's not a very drastic amount, but it will give me that slight kind of variation in pitch. So I'm just going to hit do it here. And it just applied that to that little section that I have highlighted. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing this in like random little spots throughout the length of it. So there's not a lot of thought to it other than I'm just selecting small sections and pitching it up. Now there is one issue that I came across with doing this, and I will explain in a second. Alright, so I have a clean version on this pad, and then I have a sample edit version here where I did the little pitch shift. So I'll just play them real quick and explain what the issue is that I came across when I did this before, and then talk about a little remedy for that. So here's a clean one. Hurdy. So you hear it going off pitch, but you also hear lots of pops and clicks. Since I had all these pops and clicks, the intent is to be lo-fi. I do have some vinyl crackle here that I can use to mask that anyway, so we can go something like this. So that's my first experiment, my first idea. And the second one I came up with, I will show you right now. The MPC Live does have an LFO modulation tab, so back over here to my loop, I thought to go check out the LFO modulation. And what LFO stands for is low frequency oscillator. So if you're not familiar with this, my basic understanding of what an LFO is a very low frequency that isn't actually audible, which is used to modulate another signal. So what you have right here is different wave shapes. So by default, there's a sine wave. This wave shape can be used to affect my sample here. Within the MPC Live, you can use it to modulate your pitch, your filter, your amplitude, and your panning. What I want to do is modulate some pitch. I set this to around 4. I'm going to play it and then just kind of increase the pitch to see what it sounds like. So it sounds a little odd. And then I'll just go in and check out some of the different wave shapes. And also messing around with the rate. Let's see. Let's slow this down. Take this pitch back down to 4. And you can also sync it to your tempo and assign it to different note values. And I think I was messing around with the pan. I liked how that sounded. So those are some settings to mess around with till you get something that you like and what feels good to you. I just switched this up real quick and I set the rate to 127 and I put the sync to 1/8 triplets, and I think I like how that sounds. So this is what it sounds like with some vinyl noise as well. So I laid some drums down, and now I'm going to play each one of these methods over the top of it. So here we go. Here's number 1. I know it's definitely not an SP44, but it's a workaround for those of you using the MPC Live. And I'm curious to what y'all think. Was method 1 superior to method 2? Method 1 being where I went in to program edit and change little portions of the sample itself by pitch shifting it and processing it that way. Or method 2, which I use an LFO to modulate some pitch on a sample. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike, but maybe leave some constructive criticism. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm curious to what y'all doing and how y'all making beats. So until next time, this is Raul, and this has been Lifted Noise. Peace.